Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have Kathleen Kennedy getting demoted after the South Park Panderverse episode had been released, with Dave Filoni being promoted. Now, I actually did, this is an investigative reporter, I believe this was Kathleen Kennedy at a restaurant, and just a couple days ago. Let me pull this up. It looks like breaking news.
There you are, Miss Kennedy, the linguine and clam sauce.
Excuse me. I believe I asked you to put a chick in this and make her gay.
Yes, the chef was a little confused what you meant by that.
It means put a chick in the linguine and make her fucking gay! And I want it lame!
Oh, wait, that was part of the South Park Panderverse. I couldn't tell the difference between that and reality. They just represent each other so closely. Now, in all seriousness, this comes to us thanks to a website by the name of Bound Into Comics. They noted that Dave Filoni has been promoted to the Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm and will now work with Kathleen Kennedy at, quote, the inception phase, unquote, of all future Star Wars projects. And this comes after Star Wars has been... they used the Force to destroy itself. What's a good Star Wars metaphor that we could use here? The Millennium Falcon crashed into the ground several times. It's near disarray and disrepair. The odds are so mounted against them, they probably can't turn that ship around. Though, a famous pilot would also say, never tell me the odds. Star Wars has become the perfect metaphor for Disney. And the disconnect between Disney and the fan base is simply a copy of a copy of a copy. And every time they do it, they just degrade the quality more and more and more. And they insert all of these stories that just feel cumbersome, unauthentic. They insert politics into it. It's literally one of the reasons Disney stock has dropped like a rock lately. And what used to be a blue chip stock, a reliable company that would build value over time, has been in such dire disarray and destruction. And she's been credited to ruining both Star Wars because it's Lucasfilm, but also Indiana Jones by injecting feminist themes into it, where traditionally it's more masculine and a male lead, and just overall ruining the whole franchise. Now, it looks like they're claiming this is an attempt to try to save the Star Wars universe, and Dave has already been working on a few other things at the company. And it looks like this is, pulling it up right here, this is from Dave himself. He says, quote, now I'm what's called a chief creative officer at Lucasfilm. In the past, in a lot of projects I would be brought onto, I would see it after it had already developed a good ways. Unquote. They continue to say that in his role, Filoni will now work directly alongside Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and head of development Carrie Beck in shaping the Star Wars future. Filoni detailed, quote, in this new role, it's opened up basically everything what's going on, what we're planning in the future, and what we're doing now. I'm involved in the inception phase, unquote. So in other words, perhaps he might be able to nip some of this crap in the butt or salvage the stories before they spend hundreds of millions of dollars building something and creating something that only 18 people want to see. I'm kidding, probably 19. But this is also according to Brezkian. Per their agreement, Kennedy will remain in charge of Lucasfilm overall. Beck will bear responsibility for recruiting new creatives on the Star Wars team, and Filoni will be tasked with offering a narrative oversight on all future projects. So I almost wonder, perhaps it's for political reasons. Disney just doesn't want to have too much egg on their face and admit how much they destroyed themselves with Kathleen Kennedy. But perhaps they'll never really fire her. Very similar to the Bud Light phenomenon, in which technically they never fired their brilliant marketing gal by the name of Alyssa Heiderchild. She was put on a leave of absence. That was the legal term they consistently used. The rumor is because maybe they thought she would sue them. Other people were saying, well, maybe they just don't want to look too bad. But even to this day, they contend that Alyssa Heiderchild is on a leave of absence. Now, in this case, perhaps they want to save face, what little face they have at Disney, and they just want to nudge her out of the way of destroying everything and having someone who's really going to take oversight. And they still give her the title, because, of course, if they fire her, they'll be criticized for a myriad of reasons, and they'll be ridiculed. They might even go viral on the Twitter, or as 18 people call it, X. So, elaborating on his position, going back to the article, Filoni said, quote, I'm not telling people what to do, but I do feel like I'm trying to help them tell the best story that they want to tell. I need to be a help across the galaxy here. like a part of the Jedi Council almost. So I guess A plus for kind of making the Star Wars Potter being relatable to his universe. Let's see here. But he did say it looks like he's going to increase some of the factors he's already been a part of. He also said, quote, I'm setting up what seems to be a larger conflict with the Imperial Remnant. The conflict just can't mirror what we've seen before. It has to be taken shape differently. It can't just be the Empire versus what looks like the Rebellion or even the Republic. It has to be visually different, unquote. And he does plan to have his silver screen continuation for the Ahsoka story. He continued to say, part of the fan debate is what in the past always used to be what's canon, what's not, because there was George and we always knew George was the canon. I look at it very broadly and just to say there's just a love of Star Wars. Because I knew George, I worked with him, none of us are going to be him, but we love the galaxy he created and we are now very much a product of it growing up. And they also, he creepily looks like a serial killer. I mean, by the name of Garth Brooks, alleged serial killer. The data is still out. Just fascinating how when he goes on tour, people in the area just disappear. Oddly enough, alleged. Calm down, Garth. But it'll be interesting to see. Can anyone at this point save Disney? There's also a hostile takeover with activist investors on the left and the right buying up more and more shares in the billions of dollars, mind you, to fight to try to get seats on the board of directors to take over the company and perhaps salvage what they can. Now, let me know in the comments. At this point, is there anything that could realistically turn the Star Wars universe around or turn around the stock price, turn around this continuation of them putting out a copy of a copy of a copy and just becoming more and more degraded time again? Let me know. Be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Don't forget to take the time to really write a couple good comments. In terms of the feedback, is greatly appreciated, even if it's harsh. I always say, even if it's a harsh critique, that's how you grow the most. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November. So if you could click that button, I would especially appreciate it. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.